They're playing a waiting game at this hostel for asylum seekers in Berlin. The refugees who've made it here are sheltered and safe, but they don't know if they'll be allowed to stay in Germany. Sheikh Tajuddin from Pakistan has been waiting for 15 months to see if his request for asylum will be granted. Everyone gathers in the kitchen. The one thing they have in common is they've all left their homelands, but for very different reasons. Tajuddin comes from Karachi, where 2,500 contract killings are carried out each year. One took place on his doorstep.
And that's why I have to leave the country, unfortunately. And it doesn't look like I can go back near future.
It was an odyssey for these men just to get to Germany. Imad al-Mustafa from Syria first entered the EU through Bulgaria.
Bulgaria was almost as bad as Syria, but it's very different here in Germany, especially how they deal with children's rights.
Germany currently rejects close to 40% of asylum applications, and al-Mustafa's could be one of them. That's because EU law states that refugees must seek asylum in the EU country in which they were first registered. And for him, that's Bulgaria. Sheikh Tajuddin serves the tea. Families are allotted the biggest rooms in the hostel. Imad al-Mustafa's family was torn apart when they fled Syria. He only found his wife, Mary, 2 months later.
At home, we heard that the Germans are very friendly and that they have sympathy for war refugees.
Al-Mustafa says they're still waiting to be reunited with 2 of their children who've been located in a refugee camp in Turkey.
No, that is not permission to get flat. You have permission.
They envision what their future might look like in Germany, but they'll only be allowed to work if and when they're granted asylum. Sheikh Tajuddin had his own business in Pakistan. He tells us he can't stand sitting around with nothing to do.
I am very useful myself. I am good for the community, good for the people, and I have so much to give you back to this society.
And a few days a month, he's able to do just that. Then Tajuddin whips up Pakistani dishes as part of an initiative in which refugees and Germans cook and eat a meal together. For €35 per person, guests get a crash course in Pakistani cuisine from Sheikh Tajuddin.
It's almost the same recipe. We need fried onion. We need yogurt. The last drop of the blood.
Ninon Demut is one of the co-founders of the project.
We simply noticed that we learn so little about the people who come to Germany to start a new life, and that these people really don't get the chance to know us either. So for us, cooking is a great way to bring these 2 parallel societies together, refugees and Germans, and make them one.
The initiative from Berlin has now expanded to Cologne, Hamburg and Munich. What started as a university project is now a major enterprise. With help from crowdfunding, the organizers are bringing out a second cookbook. While dinner is cooking in the oven, there's time to chat. The guests want to know more about Tajuddin. They ask why he had to flee Karachi.
And there is a reason, like a lot of gangs, things like a lot of politicians, dirty politicians. The main thing in Pakistan at this moment, there's no justice.
Chicken, lentils, rice and flatbread. Folks are lining up to give it a try.
When these project people, Nino and Bantu, they came to me, and I found this is a good way to interact with the community. But yes, I start the journey in the Haim. I'm still in the Haim. Fried thing, the garlic.
Evenings like this are a nice way to pass the time. But Tajuddin hopes that someday One of the guests will give him a job as a cook.